What's up, guys? Let me take a look here. See if I can grab this chat real quick. YouTube working a little bit better today, thank goodness. That sound down. All right, what's up, guys? I can see the chat now. We're good to go on that. What else do I need? I think I got my bag looking pretty good. Maybe not, actually. I've had some stuff that I didn't mix out of here, so it's a good thing I double checked that. You know how those wound up in there. Just ridiculous daily challenges. What's up, Two Gloves? See you there. We got Summer Major going here. Wrong screen there. Just wanted to just pop around, see what's going on. You know, for those interested about my qualification, Wednesday, so kind of middle of the road. Got a late start. The one that I really feel that I missed was 9. I gave it a really good look. Definitely could have had that one. I mean, it was like just right there. I made just one tweak on what I did Tuesday, and it just went the other way. It's like, that's too bad. But all in all, not too bad. Would have been nice to have an Alba somewhere. When looking at this 9, though, definitely the Albas are tough. Hopefully in the opener a little bit easier, but we'll have to just see. I think I saw, yeah, straight in the face here off the tee. What's up, guys? Straight in the face off the tee here, so I was just going to kind of hop in and go for this one. Not sure. I'm assuming you would need, you know, probably the ball in the shop is probably the way to go with that wind, if that's still even available. It is. So last day for this. But this Regal ball, very interesting, 515. That wasn't even available when I originally just stopped kind of playing this game. Closest thing to that was out at that time was 414. And that's significantly better. And I've even seen a version better than that. I think that I saw a 525 even. So they have considerably increase some of that, and I would say this is probably your best bet on a win like that. Let's try to jump in here. Hey, Joe, what's up? We're just going to kind of run through some of these. I don't know how much I'll do, whether I'll do the 9 or the 18. Especially with the whole opponent thing, I just feel like sometimes I just want to kind of go in and do the tournament. Not always the easiest thing to do. It just kind of draws out on this game. I am glad that they kind of changed the format a little bit, took away the shootout, but still, it's like, still just runs a little bit long. I'll play this first hole a little bit conservative. What's that say? 8-1. We're going to give it everything we got. I don't even know if it's going to get there even with that. I'm going to kind of keep my alignment over to the right intentionally a little bit. I just want to create enough room around this tree. Then I'm going to go about 1 per ring, maybe a little bit more, so somewhere right here. And then we're just going to curl back just slightly. I'd rather kind of give myself a little bit extra room, not worry about the tree so much, just in case we miss that perfect ball. Because I definitely didn't you know, expect, especially this early, to have to be woken up by a straight into the wind. Looks like we rolled onto the front, so we avoided the wedge, but that means we have to avoid the great ball putt here, maybe up the hill. I'd kind of actually just rather see it just sit on that fringe, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird that this game, you're on the edge of the green. It's an easier shot than the very front of the putt. So I think we'll be okay. It didn't seem like that big of a green, but it just is one of those funny things about this game that, they didn't provide really a lot for you in the event that you do get on the green. It's kind of like, well, you just penalized me. So let's see what this looks like. Definitely looking forward to. I'm an expert 3 this week. I'm looking forward to kind of growing these balls. So as you can see, everything got up a little bit more pin high. All in all, if we're talking about, how much longer was that than me up the hill? What is that, 8 yards? Not significant. Not as much as I would have thought. Definitely. So good, perfect putt. We got our first eagle in the books. One less problem to worry about. But you can see this one, it almost makes you wonder, maybe just getting the wind smaller is the better way to go in the headwind like that. Because let's say that comes down a half mile per hour, maybe that's the only way that it gets to the green. Maybe a half mile an hour or a full mile per hour, even better. Hole 2, I was thinking, maybe doing 1 or 2 practice holes, and I was thinking particularly maybe these par 3s. I don't know what usually happens on a lot of these streams. If maybe they're a little bit more fluid, you guys don't do practice, but I was thinking about pressing the button just a couple times. I've had mixed results with the practice in the past. I've had, of course, I've used it a couple times, made it in the practice, and then missed. It's like, why did I even waste? Last tournament I used just a couple. It was only like 2 or 3 that I did on my final round in the opening cup. And I got it the first time, and I made it on the practice. So it was just like, it took me twice as... It kind of extends the round, makes it a little bit longer, but I made it both times. So it was like, well, just kind of a little extra time to get the same result. But I'm glad that, I didn't have the opposite happen. But kind of what I wanted to do more than anything was just kind of provide a reference. Now, I played it like this last round where I kind of aimed at this low part. I'm going to do something similar. I'm just going to try to get my bearings a little bit. It's maybe about 2 right spin. This isn't enough. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably 10 or 15, 11. I'm going to try in between 10 and 15, 11 rings. Or very close to it if I can. So let's just see how this comes out. Just on the edge. So maybe the 10% number like that. 10-7. Let's give that a whirl. I don't really know the answer to this. When they give you a practice, is it usually a replay? I feel like it should be. I don't know if it actually is. Because after I shot, like, this is a perfect example. Like, what if I just went up to the forfeit and just laughed? It seems like you kind of screw that person. It seems like they have to give you a replay. But even if I did that, would I be to the next hole quicker? That's kind of That's kind of one of the things that I wonder, because it just takes so long to do this. Thanks, Jayesh. Appreciate you showing up. Just kind of messing around a little bit. This is a practice, so it's not the official shot. We're going to go back and we'll hit it. I was pretty close on the practice, so I don't think I'm going to have to make too much of a mod. We were about the same. He missed it that much to the right. I missed it that much to the left. But it definitely seems like a waste of time after you've already teed off. You've seen what you need to see. What's the need to have to play the rest through? So let's go in and play it. We're just going to make one light mod. Of course, I think, what did I have? I had 8-2. Is that what it was? Yeah. Of course, if that was 8-7, maybe it was the adjustment. So it's something that I also have to consider. So you can't just say, I'm going to do something different, or I'm going to try to use that shot to a T. You still got to make probably slight modifications based on wind differences as well. And of course, the last thing that you want to see is probably like a full mile per hour different on your next shot. Really hard to have consistent results each and every time. This is pretty much the same wind. So 8-1 here. Let's get our same alignment here. We're going to kind of make the ball guide look very similar. And then 8-6 rings, give or take. And hopefully we get what we're looking for. 10-6. Man, just sits on the edge anyway. Seems kind of ironic a little bit. It's like, how do we go less rings, kind of the exact same line, kind of pretty much get the exact same result? And we went significantly less rings. It wasn't just like 0.1 or 0.2. It's like 0.4. It's like we kind of missed almost the exact same spot. A little annoying, frustrating, to say the least. But there you can see, just kind of sitting on and that would, might have had to do with my initial start point. I might have landed just a little bit, maybe started just a little half ring shorter, but it didn't roll out either. You would think with it slow rolling, if anything, with the same thought process and adjustment, it would just break harder and it would be on the other end of the cup. But no, same exact spot. Very similar path. Here's one, and this also very similar path from the other shot that we saw. So we were all over it. We didn't get the extra stroke. Would have been nice to have. I look at these par threes, all three as being pretty accessible. They seem to be the best case, in my opinion. If you're looking to pick up some strokes, I would definitely look at doing it on these threes. All three of them, really. That's where I picked up my extra. It was on the last one. We were just kind of micro adjusting, switching what I did a little bit on the stream on Tuesday. And then sure enough, that was exactly what we needed to get it. So Yeah, Ronald, I'd kind of be happy about that as well, but I would just want to make sure that I've at least shot. Because what if somebody like if it's actually live? What if they just pull the plug on you? You just wasted your practice token. You didn't actually learn anything. So hopefully you've at least shot. But what I don't, what one of the things that I've seen when you actually do forfeit, it kind of hinders your ability to go press the play button. So, especially in a stream setting, I don't think it would be beneficial for me to do because I wouldn't be able to jump. I would need them to do it. So let's hop in here. This par 5. This is probably my least favorite hole of this entire setup. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming in here. We're going to give it our best, see if we can't get a couple drops somewhere along the way. We are on hole 3. First par 5. Let's hopefully try to get this tee off to about the right distance. What I did on Wednesday is I don't even know how well of a strategy it is, but I'm going to try to do it today. I tried to stay away from the trees. So I've been trying to, if I can, stay away so there's just a little bit more distance, might open up just a little bit more angles. I don't even know if that's going to be possible with this headwind scenario. So this one's full OP. The opponent's doing little great ball to the right. I don't know if that hinders this shot based on the line. It looks still okay. Depth-wise, looks pretty good as well. Anything around that shadow seems to be good. That's more or less what we're going to try to do. I don't know what the spin is like. But I'm assuming you pretty much, for the most part, got to kind of just go for this full. And I also don't think I can do that trick that I wanted, which I mentioned, which is kind of to play it away kind of a little bit longer intentionally, because I don't really think I have quite the range to do it here. I'm going to do close to 1-to-1, maybe just a little bit beyond 1-to-1. I think that's pretty close to full. Going to come in maybe just a hair on the power. Definitely would have preferred not that great ball, but let's just see how it plays out. I think that's pretty good. So we got a pretty clean look at it. And like I mentioned, trying to get this a little bit back more to the left. Definitely easier to do with any other wind. But that's how I played it on Wednesday, just in case you guys are wondering. What I did is I kind of just kept it back just a little bit more to just kind of widen my angle margin for error through that little portal here. I didn't make the albatross, but it definitely... I'm assuming, especially with enough iterations, I feel like this one's uphill. So, with that in mind, I've been trying to play it pretty close to maybe normal max. Let's just kind of see what it looks like and see where we are, because this is a completely different setup from what I had in the qualifier. So I'm assuming it's going to be a completely different way that we're going to be going in at this. We got plenty of range here. We're down towards min sniper. I'll use the tool here. We'll put sniper in. I'm thinking maybe close to the mid number in this case, maybe just a little beyond. A little bit of offset. Something to the effect of this. This is probably a bit, this land zone I'm picking is probably a little precise. You need to be probably pretty good with your ring count here. Just because of the way that it is moving a lot, it just seems like that's right around 7 rings. Let's give that a go. Maybe 7. Hit a great ball anyway. So I don't expect this to be close with the great ball. But, you know, hopefully with, you know, perfect execution there, definite chance to... You can see I'm down towards min, but I'm pulling up towards mid, and I went just beyond mid. So I didn't use my slider, but I was just kind of keeping it in relation as well. I was just kind of splitting the difference, saying, you know, 6.8, 7.7. I'm going up towards. So that was my thought process there. With the perfect ball, it would have been close. So it would have only needed, you know, it would either been right edge, left edge, or it would have been in the cup. So we know one of those threes would have happened if I would have hit perfect ball. So some opportunity there to get that one, especially when you get it in that spot. Hole 4. I don't think I'm going to waste... I'm not going to use the practice token on this one. I feel like with the slope, there's just too much variability. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time. And I really, realistically, I don't think I'm going to learn anything extra from just seeing the way that it naturally rolls out. I think there's too much variable. You try to stop it on the front of the green. You know, maybe it just goes 1 click to the right, 1 click to the left. I find this to probably be the least repeatable of the 3, just because you're kind of getting it on the front, letting it roll down the hill. You have less control as a player playing it that way. So I'm going to save my practice token as a result of that, but I will use one for the next par 3. It's another good thing. I get to see kind of what the person in front of me is doing in this one situation. I was thinking something along the lines of plus 10%. So let's see how close he goes to in relation to 10 rings, just so I get an idea. Of course, I don't know what his ball guide is, but I feel like a lot of the players that I see play, I usually assume that they're pretty close to aiming on the hole, so I use that kind of to my advantage when I actually see their shots. That was a weird pull because that was definitely more than... It was very weird because it's like the first pull was like 7 or something. It's like, who naturally pulls 7 rings? So didn't really learn a lot there. Hit a great ball anyway, so let's just see how it runs out. But, you know, this is more or less what I'm trying to do as well, which is just get it on the front, let it funnel down. And you can see when it comes in slow like that, a little bit to the left. If you get it just a little bit more, maybe it's a little to the right. I think as a player, you don't have quite as much control over this shot. But if you were to really try to fine tune, you could definitely get a good feel. I'm going to play this maybe just a hair more than this, but definitely close to it. And this is kind of the line that we want. So if this is the line, I'm going to go beyond this because I'm trying to essentially play the wind effect right now. So +4 there, you can see with what the ball guide looks like, it's pointed just a little bit to the right. We're going to go really close to the max line, maybe just a hair more. What would 15 be? 8.3. I'm going to try 8.3. We're very close to 8.3. So let's just see how this comes in. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat reasonable. Just a little too slow. I don't think it's gonna do what I wanted it to. I'm surprised that the ball guide didn't stretch out more. So I definitely expected the ball guide to expand out. It's weird that if when you're looking at it pre-adjustment, the ball guide is pretty much to the hole, and then I actually shoot and it doesn't even make it there in a tailwind. It kind of defies any logic whatsoever that that ball checked up the way that it did. So again, you know, another reason that I didn't really want to take that hole too seriously to begin with. I just think there's not a lot of human element to it. I'm sure that, you know, you can probably get it down and try to master it, but it's just kind of weird that we're just kind of, you know, trying to factor in playing the slope and just letting it funnel to the hole type. Hole 5, is this the par 5? So let's jump in here. Catch up to you guys in the chat. What's up, Ian? TLC, appreciate seeing you guys. Barry. It's good seeing you guys in the chat. We're going to keep rolling through some holes. I don't know how many guys in here are doing expert right now, but we're working through some of these adjustments, just kind of taking our own spin on it a little bit as to what we see with the holes and how we're going to play. This is another par 5 I really don't care for much. So these first two I'm not too nuts about. With this one so far, it just feels like, oh, you have to bend it around this tree. There's no alternative. You just have to bend it around the tree. And that whole thing, it just kind of takes a little bit of the fun out when it's like, well, I have to go here. I really don't have a choice. And I have to hit this window too. It's a small window. You have to worry about your grates. This one looks pretty good. That's more or less what I'm going to try to do as well. You can see with his technique, the way that he's setting up, and the bounce is kind of towards the bottom of the tree. I think what that does is it opens it up to where you don't have to worry about clipping the leaves. So we're going to do ours very similarly. I don't know what his spin looked like, but when I set up for shots like this, I'm trying to do the same thing. So if I can land close to these branches, I don't have to worry about hitting them on the way down or the way through. It's just a little bit easier to not have to worry about those. So we're going to keep this as our depth. And then I'll go pretty close to normal adjustment. Maybe just a hair beyond, which I'm assuming is pretty close to 1-to-1. So maybe 7.5 rings in this case. Perfect ring, just a little bit of overpower, as you could see. And pretty good overall. I think we'll be in sniper range from here. This is the one that has a really big downhill where you're setting up, though. So I'd imagine that the overplay here is pretty considerable. And we're actually in the same spot. So I don't even know what he did, but it must have been similar to what I did. That is an interesting ball. I should look up the stats on that one. Oh, once he gets on the green, I won't be able to, though. So that took away that window. Thinking pretty substantial here. Something along the lines of at least 20%. We use pretty close to the max number. Just kind of play this in a little bit by feel, keep some offset. Got 2 rings here, as you can see, or about 2 grids, I mean, which kind of uses the principle of close to, you know, my 4 per mile per hour with the sniper. The overplay is mostly because we're landing so much down on the lower elevated surface. That's most of where that slider's coming in from. Let's see. Oh man, that's not even that close for some reason. I feel like it definitely should be. There's no reason that I feel like it should have hung out over to the right like that, because I know for sure that it overplays on that. That didn't play very consistent to the way that I played it. You know, maybe I was plus 10, but even one ring, even a great ball left there, you know, that wouldn't have fixed that shot, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me as to really what happened there. So, slight too much. Like I mentioned, I kind of didn't expect that to be one of our most holeables anyway. I think this one might have good opportunity potential here, if I can figure out a strategy for. Thinking about going aggressive on this. I like the look of that wind. Let's pop in, see what we're looking at. Hey, what's up, guys? Nice seeing you guys there. 345 that ball. Okay. So the 5 in that case is the wind resistance. That was definitely a more holeable approach than the Kingmaker option. Putter modify. I don't know what the putter modify is. I did hear about the update. I can't remember how. I don't remember if they put it in the update notes, but I do remember hearing that there was going to be one. Yeah, that's what it was. I downloaded the game mod and it said that there was going to be a putter mod, but I don't know what that means. I feel like we asked for putters for, you know, 5-6 years now. Why all of a sudden they just finally started to acknowledge your guys' requests? So I'm going to keep this line because I like what it's doing, and then we're going to go pretty close to 1-to-1, and then I'll pull back up the max. I'm going to go beyond 1-to-1. I'm going to go 13 rings in this situation. We'll pull back up. I don't think I got to be too worried about being exact here. Just a little bit of curl back. Perfect ball. Let's just see how this plays out. I have no idea. Never. Little too close. I probably should have made a slight mod. What I like about this, assuming I'm still good, I wasn't too terribly worried about Nirvana, but I was definitely hoping to get farther than that. He's doing something similar. The only thing that I could recommend, and this is the reason that I didn't say I would have curled that more, I probably would have been in the bunker. So with that, this is a precision ball too. I like those. I've never seen anybody miss perfect with one of those. So, and that looked like maybe a smaller perfect or precision one. I've seen it to where like the thing's huge. I want to take a look at that ball when he goes to shoot. I want to see what the level is, because I still never even got to use one of those. I don't know what I'm going to do here, but the goal was to get up in this fairway and have a straight pitch. Of course, that didn't work out. So we're going to do this a little bit different. I think this is makeable, but we're going to have to earn it. $10-5. Maybe just a slight curl, and I'm going to go pretty close to max here. Just a hair under. Ah! So early on my timing. It was gonna be coming in too hot anyway. I didn't keep that ball guide short enough. Maybe using the max there would have been better. The reason being is, I wasn't at max club. I wasn't on power 5 ball. I was just trying to do the differential kind of in my head a little bit. And just a little bit off. And I even think this shot here is much more makeable than mine was. I didn't really like that angle. I was trying to get it back over that way because it would be a straighter wind. I wanted to take a look at this. Precision 3. So pretty good effort. As you can see, just came in a little bit too hot. I definitely like that approach, and definitely the precision ball, definitely a cool thing you get to see there. If you have them, it's definitely a cool feature. You don't have to worry about, I probably wouldn't have had to worry about my great ball there. I would add more confidence to just kind of let go somewhere real close around, even if it jumps over a little bit, should still say perfect. So that's definitely one of the coolest things about those balls for sure. Just being able to extend that range. That'd be a definitely cool ball to have. That instead of what I hit, I'm maybe that much more likely to make it. So cool there, and even rough or pitch. I kind of agree with playing it that way. That's probably the best way, is to just kind of go for it. Because even with the goal is to get it down to the short iron. Even in high winds, it doesn't have a lot of secondary effect, the short iron in general. Nothing like long iron. So anytime that you can, even if the wind's super high, getting it to my Falcon range, or Thorn in that case, it's pretty negligible, the wind effect. It's a very holdable club. Whereas I feel B52 Grizzly, you kind of, that extra length, it just really stretches that ball guide. It's a lot harder for guys mentally to wrap their brain around that one. So what you'll see is they either under adjust how much they need to, or over adjust. They don't nail it the way that they need to. There we are. I don't know what we're doing here. Was it 10 or 15? It's either 10 or 15 that I did on this hole yesterday when I made it. This is the one that I got. This was my extra. So my method definitely works. We're going to try. Oh, did I hit the play there? Or did I hit the practice? I don't even remember. I told you guys we were going to do a practice try on this one, because I did want to try to get my bearings down. I think it'll serve the same purpose that I did on the stream the other day. Just having that miss and learning from it was enough for me to get the drop on Wednesday. So definitely think that this is one that, you might want to definitely just put just a little bit of extra prep in and just kind of pick up on things. One of the things that I know from this, from the other day, and we talked about it on the stream, is it just kind of launches. So wherever you initially set up, you're going to see that it lands deeper. So I'm assuming with this wind angle, it's going to do the same thing. We're going to try to factor that in. And I know I was plus 10, plus 15%, like right in the window. I'm just going to kind of take a look at both. So maybe 9.8 is in between. And I played it over here, thinking something along the lines of this. You can see how short I'm playing this here. But this will just help me get my my bearings down. I'm going to stay just under 10 rings. Depth-wise, that looks pretty good. So we're to the left. So what we're going to try to do is just go more next time. If I went just under 10, maybe just a little bit heavy. And I think more than anything, I probably land good. So in all honesty, if you get that wind down, that probably is in. A wind 5-ball or something, you make it with that same percentage. What I think's happening more than anything is my ball with the wind effect is kicking to the left after it lands on the ground. Because I think, if anything, I might have even landed to the right. So I think just judging that shot, it feels like I might have even over-adjusted, but still wind up to the left. So what we're going to do on the next version is we'll just over-adjust even more. But you can see, even from that shot, it lands very, very forward. It's landing very much towards the front. So you definitely want to set up towards the bunker there and just kind of let that natural effect take it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to over-adjust on the next one, even just a little bit more with that same line. Its max side spin, that was probably about 5 on the backspin. Maybe just a little heavy of that. So that's what we'll try, and we'll just go back in and give it a go, see if we can't get this one. Got somebody instantly. This has to be a live guy. Also pay attention to what our wind is, because I would imagine it's going to play slightly different if it's in the 7s and if it's in the 9s, which it might be with, if that's a minus 45 ball. No. If that's minus 45, it should be in the high 7s. So it's going to be a little bit smaller wind than my last one. So we might want to consider that as well. So this is what, the Kingslayer ball? Another good ball. Let's see how this plays out. I'd imagine this is gonna launch though. You have to almost I feel like if you're setting up like this, you have to almost underhit it. So let's see if that's like a tick mark low. You can see a little bit gap there on my circle. You might be able to see on your video. Even that landed still long. So perfectly in the circle would have definitely been long. Maybe landed on the fairway. Great ball was the biggest thing that costs there. Let's give this a go and just see what it looks like. It's almost 10. It's almost like it was designed for this to be 10 exact rings. So we're going to do very similar. Set up right here. Same thing, we're kind of pulling down into the bunker right now intentionally because we know it's going to land long. This is actually a different wind angle as well, because I'm not even pulling down in the bunker this time. It's just another way they're probably altering my shot here. And it's probably not going to fly the way that the last shot did. So let's just give this a go. Perfect ball. So for some reason, it landed even shorter than the last one. I don't know why. That was probably the line though. So I think we had it. It just, for some reason, it didn't over launch. And I'm kind of at a loss for why it didn't. I was on higher ground than my first adjustment. So something about the way that the dynamics of those just don't seem you know, the most consistent or the most, because there's no way that I should have had it roll out shorter than the shot before. It makes absolute no sense. The only thing you can maybe argue is my first one was a little bit more slight tail. That was a little bit more head, but still, you know, I was pointed to higher ground. It should have did what the other guys did, because he was actually a tick mark under perfect center. I wasn't even a tick mark under perfect center. It just feels, you know, a little bit like they're almost taking a stroke away from me a little bit with whatever unfolded there, because it looks like I had the line. So straight tailwind here. I was going to do this Kingmaker, I think. So let me just keep this ball. Let's just jump right in, see if we can't get this one. Try to finish a 14 under. It's got at least 14 under, maybe even still get 9. 9's not as easy as it was in the weekend or the qualifier, though. Stuart, I can't really answer that question. My guess would be 0, but I'm sure they get their inspiration from somewhere. I just don't know what the courses are. I would imagine they're very loosely based on real courses. It's probably the best way to put it. It's interesting. Ball guide could be gone just a putt. I don't understand what that means exactly. I think I know what you're trying to say, but first thing I'm going to do here is figure out, okay, so my OP is about six rings or so. I'm going to try to land here with some curl. We're going to assume that we've gone 6 rings already. So with that in mind, I'm going to go a little bit more. We're going to call this at least 9, 9 and a quarter. We're going to be safe and almost go 10 full rings. And we're going to curl it back. So the strategy and hopes here is basically to just roll this out, kind of keep it short, and have a very straight needle, and pretty much a slam dunk. I think there might be a more aggressive way to do this, but I don't want to bring the tree into play. And this will be very interesting. If are they trying to go OP, or are they trying to just use all their top spin and get it down the hill? Looks like they're just top spinning all the way down the hill. So a little bit different strategy here. I'm very interested to see how this works out. The shot that I really, really want to see is somebody go full overpower, and that got really aggressive there. So that one got real aggressive, almost landed too long. It was within, I'd say, half a ring. The thing that I'd really like to see is somebody take it off the tree branches and roll it onto the green, because I want to see, you know, how that the mechanics of that works. But there's no way I'm wasting my round for it. I feel like if you miss this shot, you're probably costing yourself the qualifier. So the goal here, and of course, I can't even find any consistency on this fairway, and I found it so easily the other day. This is very frustrating, to say the least. I guess we're going to just wind up winging this shot, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. It was probably like 5, 6 rings. I caught a great ball. Let's see if it goes in. Nope. So we had to just kind of last second just kind of do it ourselves because we can't find the fairway spot, which makes no sense because I didn't have any of those problems yesterday. And it seems like, I should have been very consistent with. It's just weird that it's like not behaving. I probably was maybe a little bit farther from where I pitched it in yesterday. So we didn't even get this one. That's definitely a little unfortunate. The goal there is to have such an easy win that there's no way you can miss it. And yet they still find a way to make it glitchy enough to not be able to do. So a little frustrating to say the least. But let's jump in 9. See if we can get back on track here. Because I'm assuming at this point, like if you can't get to the 28 number, it seems like you're you might not even be getting to the weekend. So I definitely feel like you definitely have to get these 14s, and I'm on the short end of the stick here. I don't think there's any way that I was dunking that one in. So there's so much elevation change there that it's like you just can't be. You can't be feeling good about the consistency of how much the elevation is coming into play. That's the reason that I was playing so many rings on that to begin with. So let's say it's a 7-mile-per-hour wind there, 7.6, whatever it was. My adjustment should have been somewhere down here, 3. I was going like 6 rings, and it still didn't play out like this. So what is 6 rings? It's like ridiculously. It's probably like plus 60 or something. I think I mapped it out the other day. It's like you're going plus 60 on that adjustment. It's just like unnaturally overplay. With that being said, I clearly went easily enough rings there, and the ball guide completely shifted from. It just didn't play out how I set up in any way, shape, or form. And with me going enough rings, it definitely shouldn't have done what it did do. So there's 5 rings. We're going to go about 8. No OP. About 4 bars of curl, which is about 80% curl here. Little carried away with my overpower there. I'm glad it stopped short. It's weird because that doesn't make a lot of sense either. Because I feel like, so we had a tailwind last time. I never got it up that far. In the last round, I never got it up that far. So I didn't expect that to get as carried away, but obviously you don't need quite as much topspin on this one. I do think, maybe I took a little bit off for the tailwind, but it's just weird that it rolled out so much. It could kind of be a blessing. One of the things that I like is being able to get to min club sometimes because it makes it a little bit more holeable. So that was close. Obviously has to be a replay here because the emoji comes before the shot did. But let's see if we can set up min sniper and just get kind of a feel for this. But like I was mentioning, it's sometimes the reason that I really don't mind something like this is because your wind effect gets to be less towards min club. So you don't have to, there's less to factor in, less margin for error. So I'm going like almost half as much with my green grid offset here. And then we'll go pretty close to the min numbers, maybe just a little bit beyond in this case, since we're pulling up. 7.3, 7.4, somewhere like that. Still a bit heavy, but kind of like I mentioned in there, I think if you can get to that spot and get yourself in a position to stay at min there, I definitely think there's an increased likelihood that you can make the shot. It just might need just like a correction. Uh, min sniper, definitely more holdable than max sniper. So being able to get it up that far could be pivotal. And of course, getting the wind down, even better. If you can get the wind down, it's even easier. So I played that pretty straight up, no elevation, pretty much spot up slider positioning. And the offset has to be so minimal that it's just very holdable. It's kind of what I'm saying. So that's like a definite good way to kind of get things to play out. So let's keep going here. Probably do, maybe similar on this side. I definitely think I need an extra drop. Plus I need 8. I can't believe I didn't get 8 here. So the worst part, it's like the other day it was easier. I got it. It's like this should be, everybody should make it because it's just straight tailwind. There shouldn't even be variability with the pitch. It should just go dead in every time. So it's very weird to have it, behave the way that it did for me. So let's keep going here, see if we can't get some magic on this one. I'm going to take off some top spin with this wind. Six or 7 top spin. Not a lot of room on the left. I feel like we're naturally going to have to bring Great Ball left into the possibility of costing us here. I'm going to do something along the lines of this. We'll go overplay, which is 1-1 here. Perfect ball. Let's just see how this runs out. Be interesting to see. First time I've seen it with a tailwind. Too much? Yep. Alignment looked pretty good, but it's not enough off the top spin. So probably 6 bars at most. Of course, I was here the other day. We made it with a dunk. So we're going to do something similar. That's definitely the way that I recommend playing it when you're in this close. Definitely no farther. I'm kind of right at the max. So I feel like I'm probably 8 to 10 yards back there. And you don't want to try this shot beyond 8 to 10 yards because you're going to get more variability. But that's what we're going to do here. And I think we'll still be okay. There's at least 2 rings of error, potentially 3 rings of error back here for the dunk. So that's the reason to play it this way. So that one came in well right. The goal here is left side of the cup, great ball right, which is my natural early. Still goes in. Kind of like that. I know I tend to jump the gun. It's weird because the other day when I did it, I feel like there's no way it should have been beyond perfect, and it was still beyond perfect. They gave me a great ball left, but it still went in. So there's definitely a lot of room for error there. So going long, worth it. It's better off than leaving it short. So what I should have did definitely is took it off a little top spin there. Let's see. I think we're going to go in and practice this. We'll do similar. I'm going to keep playing this pretty consistent to what you guys saw. We got to get a drop though. So hopefully this is the one. So I'm going to, since I feel like I almost need one stroke here somewhere. So we're just going to try to maybe go for that. On the front side, I was somewhere in the plus 10, plus 15 range, I think. Maybe even halfway in between, splitting the difference. Or maybe I fell back on the plus 10 because it was like perfect or something. I'm trying to remember. It was one or the other. I think it was the plus 10 though. We're going to do very similar even with tailwind. I don't think the result change is going to be that different. So let's do 8, 9. We're going to use the max number. Very similar setup from what I've been doing. Just kind of through this tree. I'm going to go more. I'm going to go more than this because I feel like I'm not offsetting as much. Let me just get mentally where I am. I'll try to go about 12 rings straight up. I'm going to actually underhit this just a slight because I'm worried that it's going to have a launch factor here. Pretty good overall, but we're missing the exact same spot we do every single time we play this hole. Something about this hole just causes me to miss left edge. So all we're going to try to do is just make a slight shift and go for the same shot. Same adjustment. Very similar the way that sidewind and tailwind on par 3s like this could behave. So I feel like my ring adjustment pretty similar. The reason being you pulled down so much towards min, it doesn't really, the overplay is kind of built in. So like if you need to go more because it's tailwind, since you've pulled back, it's landing shorter, so they kind of cancel each other out a little bit. These two wind directions that they're giving us, you'll find similar setups either way. Very weird. This is very weird. I feel like, so I've been left edge every time. My opponent has been right edge every time. It's like very consistent though. Nothing changing. Nobody's made it. And there's been no variation differences in result. I'm trying to decide whether I should maybe set up just a little less aggressively or pull down a ring or just underhit it again. Which the underhit for me is usually just like a sign of laziness. Plus I didn't have the time. I try not to do a lot of underhit, overhit. I just like keeping it right in the center of that circle for more consistency. So that way you don't have to worry about alternative variables. H7, 11, 4. We're going to set up very similar here. That looks pretty good. This is smaller wind, right? This has got to go in, I feel. Like I'm just getting a bit frustrated on not making anything here. 11.4. That's a little over pull. This is the worst camera angle. Must be the absolute worst way to play this through this tree here. Try this, same thing. We're just going to do, you know, tick mark or two, underplay. I don't think it's going to cost me. It shouldn't come up short. I should be able to eliminate short as a possibility. And sure enough, we finally made it. That's actually the first time that practice has actually paid off for me. I've had it do the reverse. I've never actually had it improve my score. It usually makes it worse, 9 times out of 10. So it almost makes me wonder why I use it. But there we got our stroke. There's definitely a lot of room for scoring on these par 3s, I think. The hardest one is what I consider to naturally probably be the easiest. The one, number 4, which has that slope, you would think it's the easiest. I actually think it's the hardest to get. You can see we've been all over this one. Realistically, I thought the shot that I had on 7 should have absolutely 100% been in as well. The only one that seems to be really tough to get the slope, you know, just right. And I definitely think that there's less consistency that you can have when you're just playing a slope versus playing an actual shot. So that's why I don't like number 4. But we got it. Appreciate you guys in the chat there paying attention. I'm glad that I haven't bored you guys to sleep yet. So let's take a look here. 12. We're going to have tailwind on the approach. We'll try to do some kind of precision ring play off the tee here. With the tailwind, I think this one's going to be makeable. I think I could see us making this one. You just got to get that depth down on the tee, not overdrive it. Let's get at least one more. I definitely think I started this and I was like, I'm going to get 8 no matter what. And it didn't work out that way. So I definitely feel like a little bit of pressure to get one more somewhere. So let's see if we can make that happen. We're definitely changing our spin up here. Is that about 5? It's not going to be as straight as I want it, but it's not terrible. Let's just try this, see what it looks like. I'm going to also do some curl, and I'm just going to go 1-to-1 in this case. Towards the max line. 1-to-1 I think should be fine. 1 bar of curl, which is my first circle there. I think we're still good there, especially with the left pointed wind. So all in all, not too bad. So you're going to really use this ball? I'd love to see this shot, let me tell you. I've been dying to see somebody that's able to get over there. I wonder with some of the balls that these guys have created, like 5 side spin, no power. Like, I really think that you could bend this pretty considerably and really utilize that ball. If you could actually get it to land perfectly on the right side of the fairway here. It's one of those shots you don't really need maybe more than 4 or 5 top spin on with overpower. which lets you utilize all that side spin. This is interesting. So I haven't really seen it played like that. I don't think it's the worst spot. I kind of mentioned this about the qualifier. Once you get past the trees there, at least you have a clean look. You don't even have to worry about the trees. We're going to be pulling down towards min again. So I spoke about this on 9. I think this is kind of fits into that same category of just very, very holeable. So very small offset. Something along the lines of right here, 2 rings from the bunker. I think 8 rings is too much. So I'm going to go just a hair under. Perfect ball. So it's already better than my last shot. Come on. So the other time we played this, I feel like if I had the perfect ball, it's going to do something similar. It was going to be just as close, maybe even a little bit closer. I might have even had the adjustment. So you can see you need very little offset. It's just kind of nice to be able to pull down towards min. It really brings precision more into the equation. Anytime that you can play towards min, if you could just dial up all min shots, that'd be definitely the way to play snipers. I mean, just imagine that, with like a win 5 ball in that situation. It would be such a little adjustment. Four rings, not a lot of. So if 7, 8 is moving a couple of cups, half the wind is moving a cup at max. So it really makes for a very makeable win 5 ball shot in the exact same spot that I was. That's interesting, Erica. Yeah. So especially with the higher wind, if they gave them a direct tailwind on this, it just seems like you could definitely just take direct line at the hole to some capacity. It definitely seems doable. You just land in the rough and just topspin it through it. I don't know the details of what ball would do that the best, but I could definitely see that happening. So hole 4 here, let's see if we can have a little bit better luck than last time. I'm definitely going to try to naturally bring this one in a little bit faster than I did. I don't know why it came up as short as it did. It didn't make a lot of sense to me why that happened. Let's keep plugging away here. Got a couple more opportunities. This isn't the greatest opportunity, but it would be nice to have. I feel like on the surface, this looks really desirable, but it's something I don't want to mess around with too much because I just feel like I'm trying to get that perfect spot on the hill more so than aiming at the hole. And with that being said, that's the reason I'm not using the practice on this one, but I'm using it on the other 3s. This is probably a good time for quarterback. I might even pull it here. I would have felt a little bit more comfortable if I saw the opponent pull quarterback, though. If I went quarterback here, I wouldn't know what the count was. That's my biggest concern. I'd want to practice run for it. So that one's definitely coming in fast. Well to the right. Not sure what happened on that one. I didn't get to really see the ring pull. We're going to do some sort of overplay similar 10, 15%. Let's do 15. Try to hit this spot over here. Seems pretty consistent. Of course, the guide starts disappearing the more that you get. Like with some of these spots, you can see it happening right now. It's like I pick a good spot, I feel, and then that's the spot where the guide goes missing. Otherwise, the guide was perfect everywhere, except for once it started getting towards the hole. Just curl it slightly here. Try to offset some of that. We're definitely bringing it in a little bit more. It's too hot. I didn't want it to come in that hot. The line might have been good if it came in softer, but when the ball guide goes missing, for whatever reason, it's going missing there. And that's kind of perfect example. It's like this guide's missing, but I'm over the green. So not too worried about this one. Like I mentioned, I just like to kind of move on from it, not even worry about it. We'll take a look at hopefully some of these last wins to come. I don't get the feeling that 27 is going to do it for me, but maybe it would. Wait a second. Isn't this the one we already had tailwind on, or is that the other one? No, that's the other one. I really want to go aggressive on this win too, but I don't think I have to. I think I'll just go KM. I think there's going to be too much variability. You can maybe go globe or something that's been evolved from globe to get that wind up a little bit higher. Probably give you some good results. I'm interested in seeing, hopefully my opponent maybe bust something out that's pretty cool. Get it up to short iron distance would be cool. What I'm going to do is we're just going to play back and we're going to try to precision play this. Hopefully get our perfect ball. And I think it's going to be like the other par 5 where we know we're going to either roll it up on the edge or very good chance to make it that way. So that's the way we're going to go here. And first things first, like I mentioned, first thing, I'm going to try to make sure that my depth is good. So I kind of stay away from the branches. It's definitely planned with intention. So always, if you're playing, probably try to do something to the effect of similar. And the only thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull away, because especially since tailwind curl, so I'm coming away at least a ring or two. And then probably 9 rings. Just going to go about 9 straight up with some curl, about 2 bars. Real casual on this shot here. Oh, they're saying it's not enough curl. So we're going to be back a ways. So needed maybe one more. It's weird because I feel like with the wind pointing to the right, I think that should have been helped to the right a little bit more. I'm definitely interested in seeing how this works out. I've seen this ball before, but I forget what the attributes are. But this is kind of the shot to me that's the most appealing. Just short, it looks like. If you get that in a fairway, definitely. Even there, I mean, I'd take that. I look at that as very makeable. This little unforced error here kind of took this out of my potential real good opportunity. I think this is about 10 or 11 rings. If I can get the alignment down, I'm just going to kind of go for it. Maybe pull back one extra ring or something. Couple rings. Perfect ball. So just to the left. Even though, you know, the miscue with the tee shot, we tried to fix it with the alignment there. Did pretty good overall. Unfortunately, just couldn't get it to go. I do look at this wind as a really great opportunity. So definitely being able to get that out into the fairway and getting it to roll out a little bit farther. I definitely thought my shot was going to play out a little bit differently than it did. Let's see what this one looks like. This is where, you know, I definitely look at this as a very great opportunity. That's the way that I would prefer to play it, would be to get it up there, have a very good look. Short iron, that might have even been close enough that it was a wedge. Yeah, Vivek, in case, you know, people in the chat here, was it 7-1 or 7-3? It was something, it was definitely small, whatever it was. You know, just for the people looking here, especially going into overpower, I'm doing severe overplay on that. So, you know, if you want to put a number to it, it's something to the effect of it's launching beyond max line plus down the hill. So it's substantial. I'm doing something to the effect of this for that shot. And then I'm just trying to straighten up my needle to get the alignment. If anything, maybe slightly, like realistically, that had a very good chance. I think it might have had just a little tiny left direction. I actually think I probably factored in a lot for that shot. And maybe just a little bit of left point is the only thing that caused that to veer off to the left there. But that also keeps in mind that it's just straight over beyond max there. So since we're landing very close to max, we know that it's going to land so much far past. So you have to do some kind of severe overplay. But then on top of that, for that one situation where we're pointed is so much on higher ground too. So it's going to land well down to a lower target as well. This is an interesting win for me. So I talked about potentially in a later round, kind of intentionally playing this short, and I'm thinking of this being the opportunity. I talked about this on the stream the other day, and I think that's the way we're going to go. If you could do this with something like a power 4 ball, even better. I might even still do it. I have a bunch of dead balls. So the goal here is to kind of extend the target, have a relatively straight wind, and then who knows, maybe you can get the drop. (7-1) was that wind. Yeah, so it just gives you a rough idea. I was just kind of mathematically drawing that up for the people, my thought process. I was doing it all in my head. I know, you know, sometimes I get lazy with the tool. But even if I get lazy with the tool, the numbers that I say, all you have to do is go to it yourself, and you could just put in your own elevations, power balls, whatever combination to make that number a reality. The tool itself is just a reference point. So, you don't have to use it, but what it definitely does is it makes it easy for you to be able to find the exact situation. And then similarly with, if you didn't have a Pock 8 or whatever the club is, you could basically just take my shot and then convert it to your club. So you at least see the process. So let's switch this ball. I have enough of these, and I think it might come in handy. Of course, I don't know the best way to get here. I kind of like the thought process of backspin to get here. So I'm probably thinking about something to the effect of this, if at all possible. It's about eight rings or so. I'd imagine it's enough backspin that I hope I switch to the cat bag. If I didn't, I don't mentally remember doing that. But the goal here is to get the cat with a straight arrow and give yourself a good look. So I hope I did that. I think I did, but I feel sometimes when I engage the chat and try to do a shot at the same time, I'm not all there mentally the way that I should be. In fact, I feel like a lot of times I engage the chat so much that my shot prep might not be more geared towards what you guys are tuning here for, which is about the shots. It's a little bit less interesting to hear me talk. Oh, geez. Don't tell me that. I hope you looked the other way when I did, because I feel like I might have looked at what you were. Yeah, I did switch it. I feel like it was very close. I was answering you, and you might have just you might not have just saw me do it. I'm worried about this being too much topspin, really. E5. I'm going to go pretty close to 8 rings, I think, with the overplay. 8-3. Ah! That is frustrating. Got over, coming in, didn't roll out anyway. Maybe a little too much overplay. I was being a little too careful. I probably should have just went for the shot. Might not be the greatest look, but the whole fact that the wind arrow's straight, not a lot of thought process there. I think there's potential you just roll that in if you can get the angle and potentially get that to roll out. I played it a little too conservative. I had 10 on my mind there. So the fact that I rolled so much through on 10 really threw me off my game there. Because I didn't want the same thing to happen. I factored in a significant amount of overplay, but I was on power 4 ball, so some good scores in here. Obviously a lot of guys haven't gone, so I have a lot to still worry about. This is probably the least favorable I think a win could have been. I was worried about headwind on this hole. So I really don't have a shot that I even have it in the thought process of what I was going to do in this type of situation. And I definitely would have liked to have gave this a good opportunity. Let's see what we have in the special balls category. Of course, Santa's not going to get it. Well, Santa might. Santa might if we go QB. I feel like we need this one, so I'm going to play this just a little bit outside of what these guides have been otherwise. The other one that I have a decent amount, was it Cinco de Mayo? Where is it? I have a decent amount of these too. A little bit more, no, less side spin. I like the Santa approach better. Santa QB or something. Might even be talking about something you can't even do. I don't even know. I think QB has more backspin than Rock, right? Even with the level update. Yeah. So why don't we do this? We'll go in, we'll practice it. So I'm going to waste 2 of these balls for the shot. But I think we need it. That's kind of the... I'm a little bit worried I won't make the weekend. So let's try to grab this one. At least the biggest thing I want is just a route. I want the ball to land about where I'm trying to. And I'm a little bit worried. I don't even know if this shot's doable, but I'm hoping that it is. What would my overplay be? It might just be max straight up on this club or close. I'm going to use max as the reference, no elevation. Unless my opponent goes first. Power 3, I'll keep it there. I just need a reference more than anything. He's not even doing it. So we're not going to get a good... Does anybody know in the chat here, like, what am I doing? Is it even a good way to go? I have no idea. I don't know if anybody... I'm assuming it's better than what my opponent's doing in terms of more makeable, but I really don't know where the clubs line up, and obviously they're not going that way, so... Is the quality lagging out a little bit or something? Maybe max is actually too much in this situation. Maybe I'm using mid. Honestly, I don't even know. So I'm thinking something... Oh. Almost seems like it's coming in just a tad bit hot. Power 3. Let's try... Is it going to launch on me? Probably. I think 5 rings is too much, would be my guess. I just want to know if that's in the ballpark of what we want. That was probably 4-7. Just off this. So that's the shot. It's got to be. So at 4-7 here, we're in between mid. So one of the things that you can do is you can just kind of shift things around. If I went 4-7, power 1, mid number, it says 4-7. So it's the easiest way to just convert your shot is just switch the balls, play around with the numbers. You just need that reference. Once you see that number, you're good to go. The only thing it's going to really come down to is Definitely perfect ball. Especially when we're talking QB. So got to nail the timing. Keeping the ball centered, very nice inside the shot circle, also important. What I'm going to do with this, since I was kind of like a cup to the left, I'm still going to do the same adjustment. I liked it, but I'm going to try to set up maybe just a little bit more right. So if my last win was 5-5, I don't think with a 55 ball it can dip into the sixes. So oh, I thought that was in. Mid number, power 1, no elevation. Five was the last. Let's see what this one is. 4 9s, even less. That's not good. Because if anything, I think the wind factor is on our side. So we probably got to get the ball guide here a little bit more to the right. For sure. Absolute 100% needs to be over here more. Perfect ball. This has to be in. It just has to be. You guys got to give me this. Thank goodness. So paid off twice. So we went for the extra practice shot twice here. We got 2 drops because of it. So it's nice to see that. I was hesitant. I was worried because nobody that I played that shot, and it just seemed so. It seemed like it's weird because I usually play these guys that I can. They're always like doing like the best stuff, and then I just played a couple guys there on that hole just using free balls. It's the most random time for that situation to pop in because I swear that never happens. So at least using 2 Santa balls paid off. As you can see, I have 6 of them. So we're down to 4 now. 2 to make 1 shot, though. They've really found a definite way to to really get you. To get that 1 stroke, I had to use 2 really good balls. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Thanks for popping in here towards the back end. We got that one. I'm hoping we can get this one. I think we need it, would be my guess. Maybe not absolutely, but just be nice. I definitely feel a little bit more inside at the 14 number for sure. 14 aside. I'm a little short of that right now. I don't know what I'm going to do on this one. I was thinking about it, and I still don't know. So, I mean, when I lay up and get the worst case scenario, it makes me not want to lay up again. I had the easiest wind on the front nine on this side. Like, I feel like the way that I played it was so logical, and it's like there's no way you can miss this shot, and I didn't even get a fair look. So maybe we're going to go more aggressive this time. I'm thinking something along the lines of that. But was that an extra topspin boost ball? Because I really don't think I can get up there. I have no idea if this is even a method. I'm hoping it is, or best case, I hope that it works out. I feel like at this point I have nothing to lose, because if dead in the fairway doesn't give me this, there's no reason not to just try to force it through here. I mean, when you're in the perfect spot, can't place it any better. So this was an extra topspin boost. I feel like I played this so logically and methodical on the front nine, and if I don't even get a solid look at the eagle, what's the worst that could happen? Just me bashing it into the tree as hard as you can. So we obviously didn't hit where we wanted, though. I probably should have tried to catch more of the left tree, because I definitely didn't want it to be over here. I think it brings in a little bit of the same problem that I just ran into on the front, is I now have to worry about playing this severely downhill. So this is at least 30% club plus overplay. The guide doesn't seem to be nearly as suspect as it was on the front, though, which is nice. So 30% severe overplay. Why am I mentally not there right now? 4 rings plus a couple extra for elevation. But this is such a small adjustment. I don't understand how you could miss it by a lot. Like, it has to be at most a lip out. Ugh. We graded it to the right. Let's see what it... And it just caught the right edge with the great ball. It was probably a perfect adjustment. The great ball just held it on the right-hand side there. So we did get it. We got to the 20. I must have made an extra shot that I wasn't paying attention to. I'm actually to the 29 number. So somewhere along the line, I must have... All right, well, I'm 15 on this side. I thought it was 15-13. I don't understand my scorecard. Am I 16-13? That doesn't seem right. Oh, yeah, I made 11. Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing good. No worries. We got this. Let's just go for a nice even 30 round here. Just a little methodical, nothing spectacular. Just your average 13-17. Let's go, mommy ball. I feel like these don't have a lot of overpower advantage whatsoever. I remember these being super shaky, not a lot of side spin. This isn't a side spin shot. So why don't we just use up our stock here, try to make it just a little bit more likely that we can get to the 30 number exactly. So I'm going to play this similar to what I did on the front. I definitely like it over there to the left, being longer down there, maybe even getting it towards min. I think that's where I think I was really close to the min line on the front. Pretty good there. I'm, hopefully going to shoot for longer, but not out of control longer. I don't want to wind up in that sand. And we're just going to use all of our curl in this case. It's actually going to have just a little bit more overpower than I wanted, but I'm cool with that. Shoot, I think I could probably, realistically, I could probably go full here and it wouldn't even cost me. Just going to be a little cautious. Great ball on the right there. And we're out there in good position. Like I said, this is a very good ball to just kind of waste. That's just because it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest ball, and the game has evolved so much. It's like I'm not going to miss having that ball. So let's just go for the perfect number, see what we can do. It's going to be straight side wind, so not the easiest. I don't expect for this to be a simple make, but I'm going to use kind of same logic that I've been doing, maybe a little offset. This isn't a very big elevation hole. You can see it's very flat. You go over just a small river too, so it's not like a huge water carry over the water shot. So very close to no elevation, no slider. If anything, I think guys, they're probably just aiming at the hole and overplaying, which would be minimal 10%, 15% overplay, somewhere like that. But this hole's so flat that definitely a great opportunity. I feel like I definitely should have had this in the qualifier. I felt a little jilted that I didn't get it. But let's see what we can do here. There's min. This setup right here is probably a little bit shy of mid value. Let's go back, try to sand it. Obviously, I should have done all of this, so I'm not wasting time doing it now. 5.7, it has to be under that. And you can see my offset about 1 grid. And there's no way 5.7 is the absolute most that I could need to move here. I'm thinking of going 5.5. Very close to. Should have just stuck with the mid number. I think 5.7 might have had it. I kind of talked myself out of it. I was like, it's going to be so minimal. I think the biggest thing I probably talked myself out is it was like on the short end of min, so I was like maybe a little bit less effect, but it did, especially pulling up a little bit, come into play. I should have just stuck with the number. Should have just did 5.7 right up, and that would have been right on the edge. But nevertheless, we're through. I would imagine. I don't think we didn't make an albatross, but I would imagine with a semi-decent tiebreaker. What was it, 15? I had 15 last round. I don't think I'm going to fall too far down. And, who knows, on the weekend, kind of can go either way, as you can see. This is kind of a tale of two nines. I could either go 18, I could go 15, or I could go 12 under. Like, we just don't know. That's why tuning in, it kind of makes it a little bit more exciting. But best of luck out there, guys. Hopefully you guys are, mastering this setup and you're not finding this new course too much of a challenge. Thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for supporting, showing the love. I'm not sure if I'll make it around on the weekend. A lot of times I have some stuff going on, just kind of try to play when I can get a couple holes in, that type of thing. But next week we'll be in Master 1, and I plan to go for Master, especially on the 9 hole. So worst case scenario, if you're looking forward to kind of seeing some more content from me, we'll be Master 1 next week, and that's what we'll take a look. We'll look at it on Thursday and just kind of see what happens. So thanks for showing up, guys. Thanks for the support in the chat, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.